We've just got word coming in that the BJP unit will be chairing a crucial meeting tonight to take stock of what went wrong. Amit Shah may call a parliamentary board meeting soon. Today, of course, is the wedding of his son Jai. We're also hearing that Uddhav Thackeray has hit out at the BJP, saying that this is a tsunami which is bigger than any wave. He's congratulating Arvind Kejriwal. A lot of unhappiness, bitterness piling up after he was forced to accept the BJP's terms and conditions in Maharashtra. He's now come out and taken a dig. I want to introduce now to our guest, a very brave man indeed, the first BJP leader to have ventured into our studios since the morning. Aijaz Ilmi, welcome to Headlines Today. It's good to have you. We've had lots of people joining us on OVUN. Nobody's come to our studio. What's the thinking in the BJP mood when you're staring at 3 seats in the new assembly?
Well, it's a reality which one has to accept totally. We've been hit by a hurricane force wind. We had Hurricane Katrina earlier, but this is Hurricane Kejriwal at its best, and which has decimated not only the Congress but the BJP also. And there are lessons in it for the party to learn. We will do an honest introspection.
Now, what are the lessons that you think you should learn?
The lessons are that our message was definitely muddled. We could not convey what the message that we had during the Lok Sabha elections and our work after that for working for the nation in terms of working very, very hard.
No, why could you
that got muddled a bit because...
No, who muddled it?
No, I'll tell you what happens. BJP functions very, very well as a party which has a top-down approach and a bottoms-up approach. Right now, because of changes right at the last minute and a campaign where we...
No, who's to blame?
The blame is for the...
Is Modi to blame?
The blame is to the entire party. Modi is doing his job as the Prime Minister, and this election for the Chief Minister, people handling this campaign, including all of us and spokesperson and people at the top, it's a collective responsibility.
No, so Aijaz Ilmi is to blame because the BJP...
No, Aijaz Ilmi is also to blame because as a spokesperson, I have not been able to convey the real messaging that should have been conveyed.
A party that were masterful communicators in May last year, just in 9 months lose their ability to communicate?
No. Our communication is there, but the ability of Mr. Kejriwal's party to communicate better than us is reflecting in the mandate that they received.
Why did he communicate better than you? What did he do that you couldn't?
The only thing we could do was retain a vote share, the incremental vote, which is a swing vote.
Why not?
It is apparent that his words found more resonance.
But why? I'm asking you why. Nalini, do you want to add some thoughts?
May I ask a question of Aijaz Ilmi? What kind of communication strategy is this that you have full-page ad on the day of the elections in the Times of India and the Hindustan Times that says, "Jahan jhuggi wahi makan." I read the Times of India, people like me, and I don't live in a jhuggi. So who are you trying to target with those expensive advertisements? Would you concede that your communication strategy was completely misaligned with the public that was going to vote?
No, our communication strategy was to reach out to everybody across the board, irrespective of any blocks of caste and high income, low income, to across the board. But obviously, our resonance, it did not find political traction, is because the messaging from the other side found resonance.
No, I don't think these fancy words explain what's happened. You're down at 3 seats.
Absolutely, yes.
It's not a defeat. It's not a debacle. This is being banished to the woodlands of... we are banished to the woodlands in terms of electoral numbers, but our percentage still remains 31%, which is, we've been wiped out earlier.
Now
you're sounding like the Congress
party. Exactly.
Yes, we've fallen, but the BJP is also fallen.
I'm not comparing ourselves with the Congress party. I'm saying the BJP always had a 30 to 35% vote share for the last 25-30 years in Delhi.
So you've been static.
We didn't get the incremental vote,
and the Kejriwal tsunami has overrun you. Now, this was an election where you had possibly the most formidable electoral force in Indian recent political history. Up versus one man. Up essentially versus one man and one idea. How did that one idea triumph over such a big army?
We also had a very important imponderable which was never there in the election of Delhi, where it was a completely bipolar election and the complete wilting away.
Every election in Delhi by and large has been bipolar between the BJP and the Congress to begin with. It's only...
The vote share of others always used to be 20 to 25%.
He's right. True.
So that also has wilted totally. It has become completely bipolar. It was Kejriwal's message versus the BJP campaign.
So in effect, they were benefiting from the division of votes, and now that has not happened, they've gone for a 6th. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm trying to say is that in a completely bipolar election, it is very evident that even the others, forget the political parties, the others category, everybody's wilted.
What are the big mistakes you think, Aijaz, you made in this campaign? Do you believe this entire spiel about communalism, this whole business of love jihad, you know, every woman must have 4 kids, ghar wapsi, do you think all of this contributed to this disaster?
In a sense, all of us tried to delink our party from the so-called lunatic fringe that you talk about. And our message has been for growth and development.
You're accepting there's a lunatic fringe in your party?
No, I'm accepting that people make irresponsible statements which they should not make.
The lunatic fringe in your party make irresponsible statements.
That impacts people, yes. I'm not, I'm saying the so-called, what you say.
You said lunatic fringe in your party. I said, sure, I understand that there's a lunatic fringe. You're accepting that they created problems for you.
No, I'm acknowledging that our message gets muddled, our message of development and growth gets vitiated by the fact of these irresponsible statements made by a few people
Rahul,
to us.
I'll come back to the communication strategy. They did a few good things. Just take the student community. They reduced that 4-year course of the BA to 3 years. Graduation. And I think that students, by and large, were very happy. I never saw that as an achievement. But I would say, Rahul, just getting away from this, it's very worrying that the two national parties that we have in the country should be so racked by bitterness. At the moment, BJP is bitter because look what's happened. Congress has been bitter now for the last N months or if not years. Now, to have this kind of unstable political frame in which we are existing doesn't bode very well. And if, you were earlier talking about what does Lalu Yadav think, what does Nitish Kumar think, let's just say that all of these parties come together. They've come together earlier. And you know what happened with the Janta experiment? It collapsed. So, we really should be worrying about what is happening in at the macro level in the country also. And today
do you see, Javed, anti-Modi forces polarize as a consequence of this verdict?
This verdict will give them a shot.
For example, a Mamta and a left and a Mulayam and a Mayawati get together?
Well, in politics, nothing is impossible, but it's unlikely.
I want to answer this question. On one hand, it might stop our momentum for a while, but it also adds a new element, a new anti-BJP player in the national firmament, competing with parties like the RJD, like the JD, like Mamta, like Biju Janata Dal and the BSP, who have been around for the last 20-30 years, which it will not enhance the index of opposition unity, but it will further fragment the index of opposition unity.
Or they could all get together again.
Yes, if I can come in, he might emerge as the VP Singh of the late 90s.
No, but when you say that, VP Singh had a certain stature. Kejriwal is a kid who's just joined politics recently. Will the Mamtas and the Mulayams accept him?
Yes, listen to me. VP Singh was a member of the Congress party. He was Rajiv Gandhi's finance minister. He rebelled, came outside. And there was a famous George Fernandez statement. If we didn't have a VP Singh, we'd invent a VP Singh. So who knows? For a beleaguered, dispirited
do you accept that, Dr. Lahiri? That Kejriwal would be acceptable to a Mamta who will have to concede that Kejriwal is a bigger leader than her. I don't see her do that.
I consider it very unlikely, because recall, Rahul, that it required an internal emergency for all the opposition parties to drown their differences and get together.
Correct.
The question that will be asked, the opposition may be very unhappy with Mr. Modi and his BJP government, but has it given offense to the extent of an internal emergency for them to drown their differences and come together? It may require a lot more than what has happened so far to make that.
No, but the only reason could possibly be that he's the only way to oust Modi. Nalini Singh, that if you don't get together, you can't beat Modi. You get together, you possibly can beat Modi.
And after this, exactly, I think that the BJP will learn a very quick lesson. They will learn an extremely sharp lesson after today where there is a wedding.
But will they? Because they could come to the conclusion that Delhi is not Bihar, Delhi is not Bengal.
I think that there will be
in the general elections, we took allies wherever we could. We understand taking on coalition partners, having vote accretion. BJP is a sensible party which understands the politics and dynamics of taking in partners and accruing, which is why...
That's why you threw out the Shiv Sena.
No, we wanted to expand our own party, and we managed to expand our party very, very well.
No, but there's a clash between your first statement and your second.
No, but the fact is that on the national firmament we took allies on board and we contested elections.
But look at Uddhav's reaction. He's upset with you, as he should be, because you've kind of used him and dumped him, and now he's saying Kejriwal's taught you a lesson.
Well, Kejriwal, what has happened in Aam Aadmi Party is the lesson for the BJP and all political parties, and we accept it with all humility, and we need to do an honest introspection. And the fact is that it can't happen right now. It will. There's feedback coming from everywhere. It will be collated, and we will do an honest introspection.
Rahul, to the answer.
No, but will this, Javed, give more spirit to the likes of a Sushma Swaraj, a Rajnath Singh, who for practical purposes have been put on the back burner? They've lost their voice. They've lost their relevance in the party. It's now essentially a modified BJP that decides what happens. They weren't even used extensively in the campaigning. They're big Delhi leaders. They could have campaigned much more than they did. Will this give more voice to them now?
Possibly. What this could also lead to is a change in the strategy of a top-down approach. There will be greater consultations. There will be a greater effort on the part of the BJP leadership.
But will there? Because neither Amit Shah nor Modi is known to do that.
Well, if they don't, then you have what? Then the results are there before you. And the point I wanted to make earlier is already the signs of the opposition getting this much needed oxygen are there. Read what Nitish Kumar had to say, what Mamata Banerjee had to say, what Lalu Yadav has said, and what happened during the Delhi elections.
Is this in that sense your worst nightmare? The fear that Kejriwal now emerges as the most potent anti-Modi voice in the opposition?
It's a reality that has hit us very, very hard in the state of Delhi. But you also understand that his addition to the anti-BJP forces would further fragment the anti-BJP forces.
No, they could consolidate the anti-BJP forces.
I don't think Mulayam, Lalu, Mamata are willing to concede their space and their...
No, it happened versus Indira Gandhi during the emergency. It can potentially happen again.
But you were a part of this.
Yeah. I know, I understand. You're talking about the Janata Dal. I was part of the campaign and I understand that. But look how it unraveled very, very quickly. It became a nightmare for the people.
Unraveled later.
Yeah, but it became a nightmare for the people.
They came to power.
And people understand. People are obviously very aspirational and impatient, and they're giving their verdicts very, very quickly. In the state of Delhi, our message has been muddled to a certain extent, and we will take our lessons in honest fashion, because we intend to be part of the political process as one of the largest parties. We will take our lessons.
But I think it's the idiom that you should watch. I mean, with great respect, that if you are going to be pompous and stand back and talk in this talk in this remote fashion, you are going to be more arrogant, or perceived to be more arrogant, forgive me, and you will just start, you will be on a losing spree. This will be your skid row. And when the downslide happens in a country where about, 90 crore people have mobiles, then the message goes very fast. So I think that here preventing the skid row means the top leadership, as well as saying to the Karyakartas of Delhi that we are very sorry we marginalized you, that the local leaders have to come out and say we were marginalized, and the leaders, the top leaders, all kinds of apologies necessary.
This information that we've got, that Sarmishta Mukherjee, who's Pranab Mukherjee's daughter, has come in third in her seat of Greater Kailash. Saurabh Bhardwaj from the Aam Aadmi Party has won by 14,000 votes, and the number 2 person in that seat is Rakesh Kumar. And this is when there was a talk in the BJP and in the Congress that they'd put up a weak BJP candidate so that Sharmishta had a easier time. But she's actually come in number 3.
Yes, and this should, will drive home the point to the Congress, if nothing else, that what they are looking at is not some kind of, they've been out of power and they'll come back automatically. Here, they've been wiped out. They've been totally wiped out. They've been forced to shut shop in Delhi. And if they don't get their act together and get together fast, this could soon become a permanent thing.
And in Bihar, Sadakat Ashram, if you go there just now, I'm sure that there are locks on the gate.
Okay, Uddhav Thackeray said, yes.
Greater Kailash, even last time Congress was in the 3rd place.
That's correct. No, but you'd assume she's the president's daughter, she'd make some kind of... She's a Bengali president's daughter, comes from that area.
It just shows it was so bipolar. It was BJP, or rather Aam Aadmi Party versus BJP.
Yeah, with Aam Aadmi Party 25% points ahead of you.
Absolutely.
Just 25%. That's usually... That's 2.5 times the Congress's vote.
Rahul, I just
overcorrected mandate correction, I mean, obviously, will get the requisite cost correction.
Somebody just SMS'd a short while back that Kejriwal ne pehla dhoka pehle hi kar diya. Instead of the jhadu, there's a vacuum cleaner that's gone around Delhi.
Rahul,
it's apparent, yes.
I just want to make one more point about the comparison between Janata Dal formation against Congress and non-BJP formation against BJP is, I think, a bit premature, because remember in 1971 election, Congress got 352 seats. So Congress was in an unassailable position. Then came the emergency. That is what triggered this formation. Now, whether this fear that BJP is becoming too big, whether that will be enough to bring all these diverse parties together, I have my doubts.
But it depends on what happens over the next 4 years. That could, to a great extent, determine whether these parties rally around. How is the Bharatiya Janata Party likely to respond to this debacle? Mind you, in private, over the past week at least, the BJP had started to concede that they might not win. They started to concede that it might be a very tough battle. They started to concede that they might fall short of 35. Some had even said that they might come between 20 to 30. No one, and I guarantee to you, no one thought that they would fall to 3. Javed, I'll start with you. What's the most likely reaction in the Bharatiya Janata Party going to be?
Well, for the moment they're shell-shocked. I hope they will draw the right lessons, and I hope the axe will fall on the right people. First of all, you know, the present BJP leadership would want the world to believe that they are very brave people. Well, they need to exhibit that and take some of the blame themselves.
Well, I would say to you that we are here as a political party wanting to work with the public. We know what happened to Rajiv Gandhi when he got 413 seats and how that mandate was squandered away. The BJP has no intention of squandering the mandate. The mandate correction is definitely there.
That led to that mandate getting squandered, most notably Bofors. Here there hasn't been any major scandal or a scam. There have been a few things that people have criticized. And yet you lose so much vote share so quickly.
It requires a course correction for us. Why did we not get the incremental vote share that we got
what course correction do you believe it requires?
Modi's campaign?
Okay, so tell me, what vote share do you
want? Because we obviously, the people at the centre aspired for a change and voted for Mr. Modi because we represent that force, and all our schemes have been across the board.
But do you accept the one failure was that over the 8 months that Modi was in charge, the people of Delhi felt no difference between having a Sheila Dikshit or Najib Jung or a Manmohan Singh in charge and having a Modi in charge? People felt, where's the difference? Whether it's corruption, whether it's Bijli, whether it's Pani, nothing changed.
The difference was that because the elections were not announced and we are partly responsible for that, we didn't understand the anger that people had against the MCD and the corruption within the MCD. Because largely all those 3 MCDs.
No, because you run it.
No, absolutely yes. We should have focused more and done the course correction there. And that would have resonated upwards. Unfortunately, the course correction that is required now should have been done much earlier.
Nalini Singh, how is Modi likely to respond?
Well, let me say, one of the differences...
He's never lost in this fashion. In fact, he's never lost a campaign
election in his life. But I would say one of the differences is that secretaries to the Government of India come on time. Apparently, they come at 9 o'clock.
And they're not happy about it.
They're not happy about it. But you know, I think Mr. Modi is going to recognize that it's a fight, or it was a conflict between the local unit, in this case Delhi, and the national leadership of the BJP. So it's an intra-BJP fight and a conflict, and that has caused the huge amount of erosion that you see of these votes. But that's not to say that the Aam Aadmi Party did not put up an extremely magnetic and attractive campaign. BJP could have countered it.
BJP mess it up so badly?
Yeah, this
go down to 3 seats, Dr. Lahiri.
Who was
Here is a party that just 9 months ago was setting the agenda, and suddenly you had a guerrilla warrior running circles around you. The BJP seems adept at taking on a political foe, a weak political foe like a Rahul Gandhi or an NCP. They have no clue about how to deal with Kejriwal.
See, what I'm surprised by, I definitely believe that every constituency has a history. I'm still looking at Krishnanagar, where Harshvardhan won last election with 58.3% of the votes. BJP, I am told, has maintained its vote share. So in Krishnanagar, it should have maintained 58%, and with 58%,
you can't lose.
You always win. And here you have the chief ministerial candidate losing Krishnanagar. Similarly, you look at New Delhi. New Delhi was Arvind Kejriwal, Kirari and Ritali. These BJP had more than 50% votes. I don't see why, when they're maintaining their vote share, in these seats, they should be losing. So I find that there must be something which has gone wrong. And mind you, when we went to Benares and we saw how BJP organizes its election campaign with 1 page of voters list given to one party worker, how could it go wrong like this? I don't understand. Actually,
can I just ask
we need to understand it more.
Nalini.
Cephalogical question. Is Delhi known to be a kind of swing state? So does it go from one extreme to another extreme?
In fact, you look at BJP, it always got 4 to 6 seats, even 7 seats. And when it lost in Lok Sabha, it used to come down to 2 or 0.
Just look at those images. You know, we're here in the studio. That's where really I want to be. That's the party to be at. Aijaz is nodding his head. He agrees. Aijaz, I don't think you'll be popular.
You were at the Banaras party doing campaign with your drone video. You were there at the party outside the BHU. when I met you.
That was a fantastic party.
Yes,
that was a
yes.
fantastic party, no doubt about it. Look at it. The tricolour, the festivity.
Absolutely.
This is a party.
So.
And this is a powerful message that goes out all across the country. Through television, this message, Dr. Lahiri, goes out all over, where you've got these anxious, keen, eager faces. They look at Kejriwal with so much hope. And he let them down the first time. He rebuilt that hope. And this time they believe he's wiser and he won't let them down.
This is what is known as the robust, vibrant democracy. I find BJP got trounced by Aam Aadmi Party, and the Prime Minister calling Mr. Kejriwal for the first time, you tell me, and asking him, please come over for a cup of tea. I mean, we change governments without any bloodshed, without any problems.
There's been a lot.
This is a celebration of a constitutional democracy.
No, we don't know yet.
This is celebration. That call was made.
2-3 weeks. Kejriwal and Modi will be at loggerheads. I can guarantee that.
We are talking about cooperative
there's been a lot of talk
and promoting different states and to reach out to funds and get the investments and make India. The fact is that
we'll see from both sides. I'm not just distrusting the BJP. Also, the Aam Aadmi Party has a lot to show whether it can behave in a mature fashion or not. There's been a lot of talk about the AIB roast. Remember, just 9 months ago, Modi was the toast of the country. Now his party is being really roasted by the voters of Delhi, down to 3 seats.
In fact, I must thank all the studios that we've once gone to. The AIB roast in Bombay is that all the BJP spokesperson have really got roasted by the media today, and rightly so. So we acknowledge that.
The media hasn't roasted you.
We acknowledge that.
It's the wise voter of Delhi.
We were roasted by the verdict. We totally understand that, but rightly so. We were talking about the AIB roast, watching those things.
You've been watching it, it's banned.
Yeah, I watched it.
There you go. We got a BJP spokesperson. Aijaz is not the usual BJP spokesperson. Hence winding himself up in a bit of a not be the sweet guy. And he has admitted, as his 8 million people watch it, I'm sure several netas have. He's just the first one who probably accepted that he has. We're slipping into a break. We return live on Capital Showdown on the other side. Stay with us.
ये मेरी पत्नी है। ये कभी भी सामने नहीं आती क्योंकि ये सरकार में काम करती है। एक डर लगा रहता है कि कभी ये सरकार में काम करती है तो एक डर लगा रहता है कि कभी सरकार इनके खिलाफ एक्शन ना ले ले। तो आज मैं इनको खींच के ले आया। मैंने कहा डरो मत, सरकार कोई एक्शन नहीं लेगी। दोस्तों, जो कुछ भी मेहनत मैं करता हूं वो मैं मेहनत बिल्कुल नहीं कर पाता अगर मुझे इनका साथ नहीं मिलता। मेरे पिताजी हैं, अगर इनका आशीर्वाद ना होता तो हम कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते थे। हमारे बुजुर्गों का आशीर्वाद और हमारे परिवार का त्याग, हमारे परिवार का सपोर्ट, जो कुछ भी हम कर रहे हैं उसके लिए बहुत जरूरी है। दोस्तों, आप सब लोगों का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। भारत माता की।